You cancel plans at the last minute. You leave messages on read for days. You meet someone genuinely kind, someone who actually sees you, and something inside you immediately starts looking for the exit. Not because you do not care, but because you care too much. And caring too much has hurt you before in ways you are still carrying. If you have ever pushed away someone you actually wanted to keep, this video is for you. Because what looks like coldness from the outside is almost never coldness on the inside. It is something far more complicated, far more human. And once you understand the psychology behind it, you will never see yourself or the people who pull away from you the same way again. Let us start with the most important thing. People who push others away are not broken. They are not incapable of love. They are not selfish. They are people whose nervous systems learned a very specific lesson at some point in their lives. The lesson that closeness leads to pain. That the people who get close to you are also the people who are in the best position to hurt you. And so the mind builds a wall, not to keep people out permanently, but to buy time, to stay safe just a little longer before deciding whether someone is truly worth the risk of letting in. This pattern has a name in psychology. It is called avoidant attachment. And it develops most commonly in people who grew up in environments where emotional needs were consistently unmet. Maybe you had a parent who was physically present but emotionally unavailable. Maybe love in your home was conditional, given when you performed well and withdrawn when you did not. Maybe you experienced a significant loss or betrayal early in life that rewired how your brain understands closeness. Whatever the origin, the result is the same. A deep and genuine hunger for connection sitting directly alongside an equally deep and genuine fear of it. Wanting to be close and being terrified of being close at exactly the same time. And here is what makes this so exhausting. The push and pull is not a choice. It is not manipulation. It is not a game. It is the nervous system doing exactly what it was trained to do. When someone gets too close, when the relationship starts to feel real and significant, the alarm system activates. Threat detected. Vulnerability incoming. And the response is automatic. Pull back. Create distance. Find flaws in the other person. Convince yourself you never really needed them anyway. The tragedy is that this defense mechanism, the one that was designed to protect you, ends up destroying the very thing you wanted most. There is also something called the fear of engulfment that plays a powerful role here. Some people push others away not only because they fear being hurt, but because they fear losing themselves. They fear that getting too close to someone means disappearing into them, losing their autonomy, losing the carefully constructed sense of self they have worked so hard to build and protect. For these people, intimacy does not feel like warmth. It feels like a threat to their identity. And so they create distance not out of cruelty, but out of a desperate need to remain themselves. Research in attachment theory consistently shows that people with avoidant patterns are not cold or unfeeling. In fact, studies measuring physiological stress responses show that avoidant individuals experience just as much emotional activation as anyone else during conflict or separation. They simply have become extraordinarily skilled at suppressing the outward expression of that activation. They look calm. They look unbothered. They look like they do not care. But underneath, their nervous system is working overtime. The distance they create is not indifference. It is armor. Carefully maintained, exhaustingly heavy armor. If this is you, I want you to hear something important. The fact that you push people away does not mean you are destined to be alone. It means you learn to protect yourself in the only way that made sense given what you experienced. And protection strategies that once saved you can be unlearned. Slowly, with patience, with the right people. Therapy, particularly attachment-focused therapy, has shown remarkable results in helping people rewire these deep patterns. Not overnight, not without discomfort, but genuinely and permanently. The wall can come down, not all at once, brick by brick. And if someone in your life pushes you away, I want you to hear this too. Their distance is not a verdict on your worth. It is a map of their wounds. The person who cancels plans, who goes cold after a moment of real connection, who seems to run fastest from the people who love them most, that person is not rejecting you. They are fighting a battle inside themselves that has nothing to do with you and everything to do with what happened to them long before you arrived. That does not mean you have to wait forever. That does not mean you have to accept treatment that hurts you. But it does mean that their pulling away is not the final truth about how they feel. The most painful irony of avoidant attachment is this. The people who push hardest are often the ones who feel most deeply. They built the biggest walls because they had the most to protect. They run the fastest because they know exactly how much it would cost them to stay and lose again. Underneath the distance, underneath the silence, underneath the canceled plans and the unanswered messages, there is almost always someone who wants nothing more than to be truly known and truly safe at exactly the same time. And learning to want both of those things without letting the fear of one destroy the possibility of the other. That is the work. That is the quiet, difficult, deeply human work that nobody sees, but that changes everything when it finally begins. If this video describes something you recognize in yourself or in someone you love, leave a comment below. You are not alone in this. Subscribe for more psychology that finally says out loud the things that have always been true but hard to name. I will see you in the next one.